Hi, this is part 5 of the character drawing series. You should have all these parts completed up to this point. Let's review what should be in the layers palette to see that you have everything in the order it should be in. The top level should be the main bone folder with your character name. Next would be the image that you're working from, and mine is turned off at the moment. Below that would be the bone folder for the head, and I'll open this up. You would have hair, mouth, eyes and brows, the whole face shape. You may have a layer for the ears, and who knows, maybe an additional layer for some other part that's on the head. Now I'll close that up. Below that is the front leg, and next below that is the front foot. Then the torso, the main part of the body, and then a back leg and back foot. As I mentioned before, we're starting out with very light colors because once you get to the bone rigging tutorial, it's going to be much easier for you to be able to see the bones and see the points if you have light colors for clothing or whatever your character has. Later, next week, when we're all done rigging with bones, I'll show you how to go back in and update the colors that you actually want on your character. So obviously the last thing to do is the arms and the hands, and then we'll be all done. So I'll turn on my image and zoom in to get a little bit closer to the arms and hands. I'm also going to temporarily hide some parts so that I can see better. Find the straightest arm that your character has to work from. This is going to be the same process that we used to make the leg and the foot. In the Layers palette, click New Layer, Vector, and we'll make this arm front. And I need to drag this into my cartoon character's bone folder, and I'll put it just above that bone folder for the head. I'll click on Draw Shape in the tools and choose the rectangle and pick some color and click OK. I'll start out with a rectangle, drawing the top part and stopping about where the elbow would be. I need to add a point here and down here to make it like a tube shape. With transform points, I can start matching up edges. I don't want to go too far below. This area here will be the bend in the elbow. And then I have to make my other rectangle for this part. Same process. Add point, top and bottom, and then shape it up so that I have two pieces for the arm with what would be like a circle here in the elbow area. And it looks like mine is actually kind of low. You've got to imagine where your elbow is going to end up. And you can always make the adjustments on this even after you put the bones on and see how it's operating. You can still make the adjustments. Now we can refine this when we're not watching the lesson, right? So let's go over to Layers, click New Layer, Vector, and this one is going to be Hand, Front. Hands can take some time to draw. I'm going to zoom in here, and all I'm going to do is point out that you need that same kind of overlap that we did for the foot, okay? You want to have part of it hiding behind where the part of the arm or sleeve would go, okay? So let me just make a kind of a mitt here out of this really quick and close this off, just so you can see. Okay. So you'll make your hand. This hand in the Layers palette here will go below the arm. That's what you'll end up with. Now, once you have this all perfect the way you want it, once you have your hand and your arm exactly the way you want them to be, and you're ready to make copies of these for the other side, I need to point just a couple of things out. So I'm just going to pretend this is perfect and I'm ready to make my copies. All right, so hand front, I'll duplicate. I'll call this one hand back. And then I'll click on arm front. I'll duplicate and I'll call this arm back. Okay, now I'm going to go up here with arm back selected and I'll select all to select all the points and then move this over here. And I'm also going to turn on the torso here, and I'm going to turn off my image. Okay, well, I also have to move these behind the torso, but my point was going to be that you may need to make small adjustments in how this arm looks, the one that's going to be behind the torso. So let me drag these down. Got hand back, arm back. Okay, here we go. If yours don't seem to look quite right, if it looks like you have two identical arms, you may need to make little adjustments here. And for example, let me click on this one upper piece. You may need to just slightly angle it one way or another, this piece and that piece, okay? So that it really does look like the other arm. And be sure though that right in this area, these still need to match up really closely. And again, you can always fine tune that even after we add the bones. You're also going to notice that with the hand. Now I'm going to click on hand back, which is still sitting over here, and I'll choose edit, select all, and slide this over. Now if you think about it, if you're looking at this character and thinking, well, how do I look if I'm standing like this? And the thumb sticking out in that same direction is accurate. Okay, that is correct. But you may still need to make very small adjustments so that it looks like a different hand. All right? And that may be rotating a slight bit, or it may even be just moving a couple of points around. Another thing too, because I was doing this very quickly, I wasn't paying attention to the fact that these are still not correct in the stack, in the layer stack over here. All right, the arm in the back and the hand in the back needs to go below the leg. Okay, and you know, they can go behind the foot too. So go ahead and do your arms and your hands, and there'll be one more short video after this.